Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wrestleview Live number 102. I am Mike Tedesco.
And my name is Roy Nemer.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We are talking about the 2022 Money in the Bank pay-per-view. There's a lot to talk about on this show. Man, number one, on this show, 2 ladder matches, probably the best match of the year wasn't one of the ladder matches, but in fact, actually a tag team match, which I'm looking forward to talking about. But we do have 2 Money in the Bank matches to chat about and a Money in the Bank cash in. So let me just run through this card and we'll start chatting about it right away. We got Liv Morgan becoming Ms. Money in the Bank in the first match of the show. The women had a pretty good ladder match, I thought. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Liv Morgan comes out on top over Becky Lynch, Asuka, Raquel Rodriguez. Even I keep wanting to call her Raquel Gonzalez. I don't know why that change had to be made. I'll never know. Lacey Evans, Shotzi, and Alexa Bliss. Bobby Lashley pinned Theory in the I shouldn't say pinned Theory. He submitted Theory in the second match of the show to win the United States Championship. And everybody's like, well, I guess Theory is going to go on to Cena, and that's the end of it. But Theory does make a comeback later on in this show. Bianca Belair defeats Carmella to retain the Raw Women's Championship in a match that was never in doubt. One of the best WWE matches of the year. The best WWE match of the year will always be Cody Rhodes versus Seth freaking Rollins in the Hell in a Cell. This one might be number 2. The Usos defeated the Street Profits to retain the unified WWE Tag Team Championship. Wow. This was one hell of a match. One hell of a match. Can't wait to talk about this one. Rowdy Ronda Rousey submits Natalya to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. And right after that, Rousey, who was injured during the match, gets cashed in by Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan defeats Ronda Rousey to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. She cashed in her Money in the Bank one earlier in the night. Rousey hands her the title and raises her arm and walks off without incident. And finally, in the main event, before it starts, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, Adam Pearce comes out and says an 8th person has been added to the match, and that is Theory. Crowd boos. Theory comes out and beats Riddle, Seth freaking Rollins, Omos, Madcap Moss, Sami Zayn, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre to win the 2022 men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Theory is Mr. Money in the Bank, and we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Number one, I thought this show was just awesome. It was a really, really well done show. Everybody worked their tails off here.
They usually do on pay-per-views.
Yeah, the pay-per-views usually deliver. It's like everybody gets mad about, there's so many, video packages and this and that. I'm probably cutting it for a second here. Let's give myself a second. I forgot to plug in my Ethernet again. Damn it.
No
I'll
worries.
get it. I'll let Roy do the talking, and then I'll go plug myself in. But go on, Roy. I'll come back here.
All good. No, it was a great pay-per-view. Just to add to what you were saying, Mike. A very, very good pay-per-view, which tends to be the case for the past year and a half, really. Sometimes Raw is hit or miss, SmackDown's hit or miss, but the pay-per-views more often than not just always deliver. I was talking to a buddy of mine about tonight, about the pay-per-view, and he said, I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it. I told him, dude, they always deliver on pay-per-views. And he said, yeah, you know what? It's true. You're right. And we're just kind of going through the recent cards the past couple of months, or specifically this year. And there was not one pay-per-view that you look at and you're like, oh, that was terrible. Even Backlash, for example, or WrestleMania Backlash, the opening match, Seth Cody, that was solid. So you had a couple of matches there. WrestleManias have been tremendous. I know a lot of people hate on it. It's 8 hours and now it's 2 nights and this and that, but it always delivers. It always delivers. And Ed is right. Ed Hamilton is right as well. It's premium live event, guys. So
yes.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, no more pay-per-views. Yes, it's not pay-per-views anymore. It's premium live events. So their premium live events have been very, very good lately.
Yeah, they have, and they usually deliver on those. It's like it's a slog to get through the weekly television, but they want to make like when they have a destination show, usually like we were talking, like you mentioned WrestleMania, even Hell in a Cell, while it was a little underwhelming, for most of the card, that main event delivered big time. They generally don't miss on pay-per-views, which is really good, and especially because Ed Hamilton's talked about how Forbidden Door underwhelmed a little bit with too many injuries. WWE also has been bitten by the injury bug. They're in the process of working around their injury bugs. Cody Rhodes obviously was a big factor into the summer, and that he's gone. So was Randy Orton. He's gone. So they're doing something which they rarely ever do, trying to build stars. Now, the star that they are trying to build is not the one that everybody wants. That would be Theory. We have to talk about it. On all over online right now, all I'm seeing is, a lot of people bringing up the allegations made against Theory during the 2020 Speaking Out movement, and they're trying to, get that going online, as that's the reason why we hate him. It's like, okay. So the story is that Theory was accused of Snapchatting a 13-year-old girl. It's terrible. If true, horrible. Yeah. I don't know what what WWE did about this. I know that they investigated a lot of things, a lot of the accusations made against people, in this, during that time. I know for, Ligero, Gentleman Jack Gallagher, were definitely let go from their jobs. I know like 2 NXT referees were let go. They suspended somebody from NXT UK because the United Kingdom, for whatever reason, like their entire scene was just like pummeled during this movement, because apparently there was just a lot of terrible, horrible things going on. Joey Ryan can't even get a job at Disney. The guy, he's ruined himself, and rightfully so. He did a lot of awful things. Riddle was accused. Velveteen Dream was accused. Velveteen Dream is no longer with the company. They did do an investigation for Velveteen Dream, and the investigation turned up nothing. Triple H put his name and reputation on the line, saying that we found nothing. We investigated this. There was nothing there. How much investigating did they do? I guess we'll find out when the Vince thing concludes.
Right.
Like because that's an investigation going on right now. I don't know if they investigated the Theory thing. I have to imagine that they did. No one has produced any screenshots of any type of conversation that he had with this girl. It's just it's a story. That's right. All. It's like you can't. There are guys that are wrestling that Vince McMahon running the company still.
Yeah. It's, again, I'm not exactly what you just said, Mike. If true, it's terrible, and there's no defending, and we're not trying by any means to defend it or defend him if it is true.
No, certainly not.
But like you just said, there's no proof right now. I'm not saying because there's no proof it's not true. That's it's never really the case. But so far, if there's no proof, I'm guessing WWE, or I would like to think WWE did some sort of investigation, especially if they were trying to push him this much, because that's what they have been doing for the past couple of months. So far, I hate to say it, but innocent until proven guilty type of thing. Especially because there's no proof. It's not like there's a screenshot or there's some sort of conversation that happened, something that leaked, where you say, okay, wait a minute, there's some fire there. There might be some. So there's some smoke there. There might be some fire. There's nothing at all. It's her say type of thing. Again, not trying to defend him, but if there's no proof, there's no proof so far.
I mean, I would love to see like a screenshot of a conversation or something. I want to see, if this is true, I think that he should lose his job. I think that
Absolutely.
that is a thing where you don't get to have, a career on television.
No.
There's not, and just, I mean, I did a preliminary scan of, of things because it's like, oh, we didn't forget about speaking out. We didn't forget about speaking out. It's like, okay. All right. Like I went on Wikipedia, like, and went to the whole speaking out movement page there. Theory's name isn't even mentioned on that page. And then there's just like one Ringside News article about the allegations, and Ringside News, I'm sorry, is just not the
most
most
credible
source on earth. In fact, they are a little off the rails on a lot of their stuff. Not that I'm saying that this can't be true. If somebody made an accusation, I think it should be looked into. But we're 2 years removed from this. I'm sure somebody has looked into it at some point. And if there's nothing there, there's nothing there.
Exactly.
And then it just comes down to, are we now running this guy's name through the mud because we don't like him? We don't want him pushed or whatever it is. It seems like, like I haven't seen any of these accusations, at least not on my feed. And all of a sudden he wins Money in the Bank. It's like, oh, remember?
Suddenly.
That's the way of the internet, though.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And unfortunately, be it the wrestling community or any other community that's on Twitter, unfortunately, if there's someone they don't like, they have no problem tarnishing that person's reputation, and they'll go as far as creating these kinds of allegations against the person. These are allegations that can not only ruin a career, no matter the profession, but absolutely ruin a life. So the fact that some people might even be bringing this up or fabricating it, rather, it's disgusting. Does it surprise me? No, it's the internet, and it's the internet wrestling community, so it doesn't surprise me. But hopefully it's not true. And I say hopefully it's not true, not because I like Theory or I dislike Theory, but just because I would hate for it to be true.
I hope it's not true for that there's a 13-year-old victim out there that was targeted by this man. I hope that just isn't the case. I hope, who knows, it really, the onus is, the burden of proof just isn't there, and it's just like, I don't want to talk about it much anymore because there's just no point, but what we have to, I felt like we had to bring this up just because that's floating around right now. It's almost like the elephant in the room. If you don't bring it up, it's absolutely worth mentioning. It's worth bringing up because it could be a thing. But I honestly think that if there was something there, in 2020, Austin Theory was nobody on this roster, was a nobody. They would have no problem giving him the Jack Gallagher treatment and firing him outright. Goodbye. Riddle's another one who went through, a big accusation and a big story and a court case that eventually was dropped by the accuser. He doesn't even deny that there was, contact, with that woman. But and she even admits that, at times, it was consensual, and she's saying this one wasn't. But again, like it's gone. Like how she dropped it herself. Like how long do you hold it over these people? How long do you lord it over them? I don't know.
Oh, exactly. Especially considering, like you just said, she ended up dropping the case. So would you keep mentioning it 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, 2 years down the line? Again, I'm not defending Theory. I'm not defending Riddle. I'm not defending anybody, and stuff like this. But at some point, if the plaintiff, so to speak, if the woman ends up dropping the charges, let it go.
Right.
Let it go.
Right.
But
so now let's talk about Theory just for this television show.
Yes.
he's been a great heel. He's been a really, really good heel. I thought me and Victoria talked about it on Raw, that he had this incredible interaction with John Cena. Really, really good. Like he really looked so poised, for a guy who's only 24 years old, getting in the face of this legend and really like stepping up to the plate on that segment. The big rumor is that he's going to face him at SummerSlam. I heard that match actually might be delayed. Maybe that might be a WrestleMania match.
That would be massive if it was a WrestleMania match. I think we all know who would win that one. He's someone you can't help but hate. He has that smug face, very arrogant.
I don't like they're too small.
There's something. I don't like his. I don't like his. I don't know his facial hair. I don't know. There's something, right? You're always gonna find something to dislike about him, but that's what you want in a heel. You want people to just hate them. Like, I hate this guy. I don't like him. I want to boo. I want to boo him, and that's what Theory is. That's what Theory is. And him winning tonight pissed a lot of people off. A lot of people. Was it the right decision? That's a whole other thing, but it worked. It got a reaction.
Yes, it definitely worked. I'm just looking at. I got to share my screen real quick and just let you see what I'm looking at. This is a very hateable face.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to like that face. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I don't know if he's discount MJF. I don't know. I don't even see the comparison with him and MJF. MJF is like, a great talk, another great talker, but I think they're like two different guys. Like there's no MJF other than MJF. There's just nobody around. Just like he might be this era's like Roddy Piper. In Theory's not that.
No.
Theory's definitely not that. He's what was I had something I wanted to say about Theory. He's really, really good on the microphone. I think he's pretty good in the ring. I think there's still some holes in his game that need to be patched up a little bit. But the big plus about Theory, I keep wanting to call him Austin Theory. It just doesn't sound right. They got rid of the Austin name because Steve Austin was going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Come on. It's like they stopped calling Nikki Cross because Karrion Kross was on the roster. Well, he's gone. Can we go back to calling her Nikki Cross and not Nikki Ass? I don't understand this. And Austin did his main event. Can we call him Austin Theory now? I hate that Theory name. It's just strange. Yeah. Riddle's not Matt Riddle. I don't know, whatever. They have to trademark everything, I suppose. Anyway, the big plus about Theory is that he's under 30.
Yeah.
Nobody in the Money in the Bank ladder match was under 30.
No.
Except for him.
Yeah. Sheamus was 44, I think.
Sheamus is 44. Riddle's like 36. Rollins is in his 30s. Omos, actually, you know what? I never looked up how old Omos is.
Yeah, Omos, that's another one, yeah. Drew is definitely over 30. I think he's around 30.
Okay, Omos is 28 years old. Okay.
Yeah, but the potential between Omos and Theory, that's a whole different thing altogether. It's and I forgot about that. I forgot because they keep mentioning, youngest United States champion of all time. And then when he won Money in the Bank, I just thought wow, they're doing something. This is something you mentioned earlier, Mike. They're doing something that I think if Rhodes was not injured, if Roman wasn't doing part-time, if Orton wasn't injured, they might not be doing right now, which is pushing Riddle and pushing Theory. They're trying to create two big baby faces, two big heels. They're trying to build up some superstars because they have no other option. They have no one else to fall back on, right?
Right.
They're trying to do something. That's what they're doing, and I think tonight was a massive step for the future, not only for the present, but for the future and pushing Theory.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's a good thing, for at least that they're, maybe Theory is not the right guy. I'm not even saying that Theory is 100% the right guy, but at least it's not often that they skew young in this company.
No.
It's almost like, for years, for example, and I'm gonna mention your favorite baseball team right now, the New York Yankees.
That's I thought you were actually gonna pick a proper baseball team, Mike. Come on.
Well, yeah, but for years, like I know that the Yankees have a mandate against facial hair, but I thought that there was like an unwritten mandate that they can't sign anybody under 30. And now that they've gone younger, the team is so much better. They have the best record in baseball right now. I was like, where are all the young guys in WWE? I remember, in the 90s, it was like The Rock was like, 20 years old or 21 years old or however, he might have been 23 or 24 when he actually signed, I think. But
Triple H.
Regardless, Triple H, young guy in his 20s. Shawn Michaels, when he started getting big, he was in his late 20s, early 30s. Like they've been signing guys that were made somewhere else, and they are not that young. They can't get that much mileage out of them. Riddle's 36. I mean, he looks great for 36.
Corbin's 37. I just looked it up, and the reason why I thought Corbin, because Corbin won Money in the Bank a couple of years ago. What was it 3 years ago now? 4 years ago? So he was 33, 34 when he won it.
Right.
He's already 37. So this is huge for them. It's not every day, like you said, that they do this. Orton was 24.
Randy Orton was 24 when he beat Benoit. Brock Lesnar was 25 when he beat The Rock. And before that, I think The Rock was 26 when he won his first title or whatever it is. Lashley, Andrew Elder's asking how old Bobby Lashley is. I think Bobby Lashley is 40.
Let's look that up.
It's 45.
45, Jesus.
Yeah. He's 10 years older than me. But he looks 10 years younger than me.
It's Drew's 37. Drew McIntyre's 37, and he won the title, let's say 2 years ago now with the pandemic. 35 when he won it, 37 now. How much more mileage are you going to get out of him?
Right.
And he's supposed to be one of your big stars right now. So
Absolutely.
they're aiming low, which is a good thing.
They have to. Even think about AJ Styles, 45. I think he's either 45 or 46. Cody Rhodes is 37.
37.
Randy Orton is 40, 41.
Yeah, they're not getting any young. I mean, Cena's. Forget about him. He's out the door already.
Hard time anyway. Brock Lesnar's in his mid 40s.
Yeah. I mean, let's take a look here. Roman Reigns is how old is Roman's 37.
37. Yep.
Roman's 37. Just turned it in May. So, yeah, no, all their guys are 35 and over. Not even 30.
Right.
Over,
so they always for as a rule almost they always had guys that were young waiting in the wings that were main event material. Yeah. And for whatever reason, the last couple of years they got away from really trying to insert young stars into the main event scene.
Absolutely.
Like even Daniel Bryan was like in his 30s, when I think even the Yes movement was going on. Yeah. So and again, that they didn't even want him. That's the thing. They didn't even want poor Daniel Bryan. So this is a positive. Like it's time to start bringing us young athletes. There's a lot of rumors. So tonight they also had this vignette showing like candles burning or something like that. And then there was like a medal, and a lot of people are thinking that it might be Bray Wyatt. And then I saw some people saying Gable Steveson.
Oh God, I hope not. I don't think he has the character, the personality to pull whatever they're trying to pull off with that. I saw some people say Edge. Like people were like trying to dissect that. Yeah. No.
Mid to late 40s, actually. I think he might be 47 or 48.
No. Edge is not young. I mean, he's young, but he's not that young anymore in terms of wrestling. But
he's gonna be 49 years old this year.
There you go. That's time passes by so quickly.
It does.
so
really
quickly.
Does. But maybe Theory isn't the answer to all these problems. But again, he's a young guy. They have to get young.
Yeah.
They were pushing him. it's the right move. You know,
Yeah.
if you think about just from a booking standpoint, you know, and
Right.
you know, try not to insert any other narratives. It's the right
Yeah.
call.
I mean, looking at that Money in the Bank as well, if it's not Theory, Riddle is red hot, right? So he absolutely could have used it. Hopefully they keep pushing him. Madcap Moss is only 32. I know he's just over 30, but at 32, they're trying to do something with him. So no one else. I mean, Drew McIntyre does not need Money in the Bank. Theory's
You
the
can
one
get
who
mileage out of Madcap Moss, but I think
absolutely.
you gotta change that name. You know,
Yeah,
it's
and the
just
look.
and the look. Yeah,
One,
it has a shelf life. You know,
yeah,
that has a ceiling. If you
yeah,
can get rid of the goofiness, that
yeah.
you know
One,
that guy moves great. He's a great athlete. He's got personality.
yeah.
Um, you know, like
He it's his look though, and by look I mean his attire. When him and McIntyre were on top of the ladder
yeah,
fighting each other, it was the same thing. The only difference was Drew has a beard and Madcap doesn't. They both black tights, black boots, long black hair, and that's it.
that's it.
But they can get something out of him for sure.
Absolutely. It looks like Sheamus and Drew McIntyre might be having a feud again, which that's really good for you, Roy. You're going to be recapping some pretty damn good matches there. I love their
It's
feud that they had last year. Oh,
I love their matches. I love both guys, but it's just gone to the point where it would be like if we were to get another Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn feud. You know, how many times are we going to get that feud? How many times are we going to get those matches? Granted, they're great matches. Don't get me wrong; they're freaking great matches. But let's try something else. You know, but it's safe, it's proven, and I guess that's probably what we're going to get heading into SummerSlam in 4 weeks this month. I mean, July 30th, which is crazy. It's,
yeah,
already.
it is. Somebody asked how old Batista was when he won his first title. I think he was 35.
Oh, Batista was old.
Yeah, he was old.
Batista's 53 now. He won the title in 2005, was it? Against
Yes.
Triple H.
So that would be
so 12 years
35,
ago.
36.
There you go. 30. Yeah. Wow. That's let's look at Gunther. Gunther's 34. He's going to be 35 in August next month as the Intercontinental Champion. So they're trying to do something. I think I'm torn on Theory, to be honest. Going back to him for a second, I'm torn on him because going with him just means we're going to go all out. You know, they're going to put all their eggs in that Theory basket and hope it pays off. The other thing is he ready for the responsibility? Because it's a big responsibility, and we've seen a lot of guys crash under that pressure.
I'm not as concerned about him as I'm concerned about Liv Morgan right now.
Ooh, I'm happy for her. I'll say that.
I'm very happy for Liv Morgan, and so let's transition to chatting about Miss Morgan here, who had a great night. You know, she really blew up. I remember being really impressed by the crowd reactions for her in December. And I think Andrew Elder was there in person in Memphis when she had a match against Becky Lynch. And the crowd was super behind her, and they didn't pull the trigger on her, and she got cold. And then they started having her cut horrible scripted promos, and then she got colder. But they kept trying, you know, and she's, you know, and her passion really does shine through in what she does.
Yeah.
You can tell that she really loves it and she wants to be good at it. Even when she's cutting horrible promos, you can see she's really trying to make it into something, but it's just not happening. It's impossible. Yeah. So after kind of existing on the roster, getting some flashes of brilliance and then nothing happening with it, they put the rocket on her tonight. You know, they kept saying on commentary. I remember even last night on SmackDown, they were talking about, oh, you know, Liv Morgan is, you know, the sentimental favorite, whatever the hell that means, or what. You know, I hate when they say
they said that again tonight during her entrance.
What does that mean? Sentimental favorite.
It makes it seem like I don't know, they don't deserve it, but you kind of cheer them on anyways, type of thing. That's how it comes.
Yeah, like they're never gonna win, but you can cheer it. Like Dolph Ziggler, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she wins this match, And then she cashes in on Ronda Rousey. And the only thing I thought of was, everybody's loud. They loved seeing her cash in and chanted, "You deserve it," and all that stuff. But then I just was thinking, this time last year, Nikki Ash was in the exact same position. So, yes, this is a great moment. It's a really, really big moment for her. And she has been over before. And there's a lot of signs that the crowd really does love her. How are they going to follow up? That's always the question. And when you have a 76-year-old with the weight of the world and an investigation and his world's crumbling around him, booking, what's going to be the story for her? It's all in the follow-up. Right now, the rocket's on her back. Is she going to land at the top, or is she going to come crashing back down? That's going to be all on the storytelling. Where do you see Liv Morgan going, Roy?
Unfortunately, no, I'm going to bring up a comment. Unfortunately, I think it goes this way. I think that's probably what's going to happen.
That's a safe bet.
Yeah. Now, I would love nothing more than to have Charlotte come back and have Liv beat Charlotte. Now, that would be massive. That would be what her character needs, because, it's one thing to get to the top. It's another thing to stay there. You just mentioned, Nikki Ash last year, she got to the top. She did not stay there for very long at all.
Crashed and burned. Yep,
pretty much. That rocket ran out of fuel. And now, with Liv Morgan, the fans are behind her. It's, she's been there for a couple of years now. She was part of the Riot Squad. She's pretty much the only one left in the company with the company from the Riot Squad. And she does deserve it, right? She's passionate about it. People love her. She's okay in the ring. She's improved a lot. She's been through a lot of weird gimmicks and weird storylines. So this could be great for her. But if they have her lose in her first title defense, then that's that. That is that, because she doesn't have that gimmick or that character of an Alexa Bliss, let's say, to fall back on, right? Because Alexa Bliss, no matter what they throw at her, for whatever reason, people still like her. And nothing against Alexa Bliss. Don't get me wrong.
Not in that credit card commercial tonight.
I heard the boos. Wow. I heard the boos.
They hated that.
Yeah, they did not.
They want nothing to do with that Lily doll. I'm sorry.
No, not anymore.
I call it.
Not anymore. But with Liv, she has nothing else to fall back on, right? Alexa has that doll. Liv, not so much. Now, do we get, if it's not Charlotte, do we get someone like Bayley that comes back?
That's what I was thinking. I thought that Liv Morgan is the perfect person for Bayley to come back on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, do you want Bayley to come back and, lose her first match, her first feuds or whatever it is?
No. One thing that they can do is maybe have Bayley come back and maybe stick her on Raw as opposed to SmackDown.
Now that I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, because
that I wouldn't mind. And it's high time for Bayley to come back. My God,
it's been
over a year.
It's been well over a year. She was, I think, the 9 months were either because they said she'd be out for 9 months. So those 9 months were either for the Rumble. She would have came back at the Rumble or WrestleMania. I can't remember, but it's been well over a year now.
Well, I thought that she would at least come back on the SmackDown after WrestleMania or something like that.
No mention. Yeah, no mention whatsoever. I don't know if they had something planned for her and to come back and feud once more, maybe with, God forbid, Sasha Banks or something like that. And when that happened, they pulled the plug. I don't know, but she's been gone for over a year. No one's mentioned her, not a single peep. So that's going to be very interesting.
Interestingly enough, she did retweet WWE's thing of Liv Morgan winning and says, "I am the happiest I've been all year."
Wow. Did she get some bad news that we're not aware of?
I don't know.
Is there something they're not telling us? Because it's been over a year, and pretty much any injury, barring something, brain related, like a concussion, something like that, or a severe neck injury, you're back within a year,
Yeah.
So something's going on there. I don't know if they're waiting to bring her back for the fall or a big return at SummerSlam. I don't know.
But they're light on. They are really. If you think about this women's roster, with even though I'm not the biggest Sasha Banks fan, I know that she's your favorite, but
Absolutely.
And Naomi as well. Without the two of them, like it's a weak roster. Anybody worth a damn was in the Money in the Bank ladder match tonight, except for Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
and Rhea Ripley is dealing with concussion issues, so they had to go to Carmella, to face Bianca Belair tonight.
Yeah, which again, I mean, that's bad. That's a thin roster. Asuka was red hot a couple of years ago, came back, nothing. Carmella's they kind of go to her every now and then, right? They go to that well every now and then, and I mean, nothing against Carmella. She served her purpose tonight, but moving forward, what's next for Bianca Belair? Because that roster on Raw, like you just said, is very, very thin. They have no one else there.
And you talk about follow-up, of people. Bianca Belair had the big match at WrestleMania. I thought her and Becky Lynch, we talked about it. We talked about, on the post show of WrestleMania Night 1 about how that was just a phenomenal match. They have done nothing with Bianca Belair since.
No.
Almost nothing. I'm not excited to see her at all.
Very underwhelming. And I love Bianca Belair. I thought her first run with the title was great. After losing to Becky last summer at SummerSlam, they took a nosedive. They did well with her. WrestleMania, great. But like you said, since then, okay, well, what's next for her? What's next for her? And she's very charismatic, but lately her promos have been pretty bland, unfortunately.
Extremely bland. Oh
yeah, not
I don't know
great.
why they have her cutting so many promos and not just getting in the ring. I even though we've seen her slam Dewdrop a million times, just keep putting her in matches against Dewdrop and show how strong she is. Whatever, do something, because the promos she hardly ever wrestles on TV. It's so strange. But her athletics, her athletic ability is one of her best traits. Why aren't they showcasing that?
I don't know. I would love to have Bayley come back and have them feud. No problem with Bianca at this point dropping the belt to Bayley, but have that feud go on for a while. Have that feud go on for, let's say, the fall, right? 2-3 months, not like a one-off match. Have that feud go on, build them up both. Bayley could do wonders with the belt. She's very talented on the microphone. She's good in the ring.
Hey,
there's a natural story.
There's a natural story there. Wasn't Bayley injured in the match against Bianca?
Yeah, she was.
So that's an easy to tell story. That could be a SummerSlam match.
Yeah, you bring her back. Have Bayley come back to. I was gonna say tomorrow night. Have Bayley come back on Raw this Monday.
Right. Where's Bayley? Gotta bring her back now. Let's go.
Bring her back. Build up SummerSlam. Right. They got to do something, or else we're gonna get. What are we gonna get? We're gonna get Asuka and Bianca Belair. We're gonna get Dewdrop and Bianca Belair. We're gonna get Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. What are we gonna get?
Might be Charlotte and Liv. We'll see.
Oh God, probably. And now in all likelihood, probably Ronda taking some time off, because I don't see Ronda sticking around without the belt or feuding with the belt. So she's probably taking some time.
It'd be strange for her to take off right before SummerSlam when they need stars. I mean, Andrew Elder's been posting about, because he lives in the area where, SummerSlam is going to be in Tennessee this year, and ticket sales have been sluggish to the point where they're offering tickets at a 30% discount right now.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
so they need Ronda Rousey on that show.
Yeah.
Doing something.
They absolutely do. And not just for SummerSlam, but for the women's division as well. Andrew's mentioned
she's a star. And if Roman Reigns isn't appearing on TV, you need a star. And she, I know she's another one. I know people aren't in love with Ronda Rousey, but
she sells tickets.
You can't deny the presence. You just can't.
She absolutely sells tickets. Andrew's mentioning, for example, Mandy Rose from NXT and Toxic Attraction. I mean, I don't know if bringing someone up from NXT from the women's division has that allure. I don't know if it's going to attract people or not. I don't think it is. I don't think it will.
You
So
also can't really gauge people based on their performance from in NXT because they're going to come up and then Vince is going to repackage them.
yeah, yeah.
You know, like Finn Balor was pretty damn good in NXT. He's not like he's not a charismatic guy. He's not particularly interesting, but they utilized his strengths when he was on NXT. Right. And even when he went back to NXT the second time, they utilized his strengths. And I was like, oh, well, you know, maybe when he comes back to the main roster one more time, you know, they'll see, oh, you know what? We're going to use the NXT formula because that worked for him. And then they didn't. And now he's just
Judgment
lost.
Day. Your favorite faction of all time, Mike.
You got it. Them and Retribution, man. Right up there.
Oh, God.
My two favorites.
Talk about Retribution. I ended up watching SmackDown earlier today. Thank you for covering it, by the way, Mike. I ended up watching it, and I saw the Maximum Male Models, and yeah, that was something.
Did you like in the recap? I put the phonetic spelling of it, Mansois and Marseille.
Yeah, that's, or else because if you don't add those little, you know, you pronounce it differently.
That's right. That's right.
Special characters.
I am very curious to see Mansois return to Saudi Arabia to have a match.
That was that was literally the first thing I thought about when he came out. I'm just like, holy shit, they actually did something with this guy and went way off character. Like, this is going to be very, very interesting to see what happens when he goes back to Saudi Arabia and they have a show there. But yeah, no, it's they're I don't know, we got from this to that, but
I know.
No, but it's fun. I love it. But going back to SummerSlam for a second, they got to get people. They got to get people, and bringing up someone from NXT might not be the best idea. And unless we get like a Sonya Deville and Bianca Belair, if it's not Bayley, it's gonna be. I mean, either way, it's gonna be terrible.
Yeah. Well, they have to figure something out. And I think we'll start getting some answers probably, you know, starting on Monday on Raw, which Roy will be graciously recapping for me.
Yes.
This Monday. 4th of July here. Canada Day was on Friday. So I recapped SmackDown, and 4th of July is on Monday. So what a perfect trade-off here. Absolutely.
Exactly. Perfect. Worked out great. We both got a long weekend. Although you did cover Money in the Bank tonight, right? Great job at that too. As always.
That's fun. It's fun. I don't mind doing that stuff. We'll have Liliana at the fireworks on Monday night, and you'll be watching The Miz talk about Logan Paul.
Oh,
another SummerSlam match. Riddle versus Seth Rollins looks like it's going to be a SummerSlam match too. They set that up pretty nicely in the Money in the Bank match tonight. So, you know, the Money in the Bank definitely kind of shaped the card for SummerSlam. The men's Money in the Bank did. I'm not really sure. I couldn't really see much in the women's match, but I do have to. I want to go circle back to the women's match one more time and talk about an unsung hero in that match. And I'm so jealous that she's on SmackDown because when I was covering NXT a couple, you know, from 2019 to 2020, I was crazy about this person. I thought that she was phenomenal, that she's going to be a guaranteed star when she comes up to the main roster, and I'm kind of there. I think it's just taken a little time for the 76-year-old Booker to realize it, but what they've got. But Shotzi is friggin' phenomenal. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal. I loved recapping her on the old NXT. Because every time she'd have a match, every time she was out there, she would go crazy trying to kill herself just to get people excited and into her matches and try to do and take chances and do things that, you know, that people aren't expecting. And some of it was a little scary. Like I remember a couple times she almost spiked herself on her head doing sliced bread number 2 on the apron and stuff like that. You know, she's not all coordinated in some of her efforts, but I love that the effort was there. She always wanted to push herself and, you know, go the extra mile to really make a match special. So when she came to the main roster, you know, they had to tone that back a little bit, but the look and when she is allowed to let loose a little bit, she's a star. To me, she looks like a star. And tonight, she did this crazy senton off top rope, onto the ladder when I think Becky Lynch was the target, and Becky Lynch moved, and then she winds up hitting the ladder, smashes the back of her head on the ladder. That kind of sucked. She was busted open.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like, how do they not concentrate on this and run with this? She's insane. Yeah. Book her that way.
They're trying in a way, like they're booking her on SmackDown in terms of just being fearless, which obviously she is. That's what she is. She is fearless. She had a match a couple of weeks ago against Raquel Rodriguez, where she actually, she looked good. Raquel came out looking like a monster, but
I love Raquel.
But Shotzi sold very well, and at the end of it, looked good coming out of it too. It wasn't like a squash match. Had one, I think, as well against Ronda too. So she's been doing well. They're slowly building her up, because when she first moved up to the main roster, she got pushed for a week or two and then just put on the back burner for a while, and now they're kind of building her back up. So glad to see she's doing well again. That was a dangerous bump. There were 2 bumps in that women's ladder match, and the women's Money in the Bank one. That one, and then the other one where the ladder did not bend, the ladder did not break. It was Becky onto Asuka, on the outside. Ooh, that one hurt.
That looked really, really painful.
That hurt. That was Asuka against the ladder, and the ladder won.
Yeah, Becky kind of overshot her and actually kind of landed on like Asuka's ribs and her arm.
Almost, yeah.
Oh, it was nasty. Becky Lynch on those flying leg drops, they always, just as a rule, look horrible, and I'm like, you need to stop doing this, and she keeps doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that ladder did not give at all. I think I put in my recap something like, the ladder didn't break, but their bodies broke, or something like that.
Which is true.
That was pretty nasty.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I thought that ladder match was pretty well put together. There was like one really scary moment actually where Liv Morgan hit Lacey Evans with that sunset flip power bomb, and I was like, oh shit! Like, I thought initially I thought that she slipped and didn't grab her, but Lacey was like really like worried about hitting against those ropes on the way down, and took a very, very careful bump. But I was like, that could have been bad. That could have been bad. The ladder was a little out of position there, but it was a good match. I thought the finish was obviously the right one. Liv Morgan coming out on top there.
Yeah, and the fans were behind it. It was the opening match of the night. Fans loved it. I'll be honest, I did not expect Liv to win. It was the right decision. Storyline wise, it was the right decision too. I just did not expect her to win, because I did not expect WWE to actually do the right thing. Like, I didn't expect creative to go in that direction.
Well, especially if the I saw a couple people saying, oh, Theory was like a last minute decision by Vince. That's like, I don't think so. I think they always had Theory winning this main event tonight, and it's like, well, if we're gonna have the heel come out on top in the one match, we want to have a face in this one, and Liv Morgan's the perfect one for that. And plus, it's her time. She's been working hard. I think Raquel doesn't need it. Shotzi is they just haven't been doing enough with her to warrant having her, win the briefcase. Becky Lynch doesn't need it. Like she's got a good story with the, she's going crazy trying, to get back on top. And this lets that story continue. Bliss is just ice cold right now. Like she's in between characters, and they don't know what the hell to do with her.
Yeah. It's
Lacey Evans got booed tonight. Like that whole, spill your guts and tell the truth about your life did not work.
Not in Vegas.
Not in Vegas. No, they don't care about that stuff. And Asuka just, I don't know. She's just there. She was gone for months, and then she came back back to doing nothing. So Liv Morgan, if you really think about it, she's the only one that could really truly benefit from it.
Yeah. And she's the one that makes the most sense. And now it's, like we spoke about a couple of minutes ago, it's a matter of what they do with her. Does the rocket keep going, or does it ultimately crash? So
right.
That's what we're gonna wait and see.
Exactly. Bobby Lashley. Let's talk about that second match.
Yes.
I don't. Is it just me, or are you like completely stunned at how over he is?
The fans loved him tonight during the entrance, during the match, even on commentary. The commentary team said, one thing Theory was not prepared for was the reaction by the WWE Universe, because they were really behind Lashley. And when he won the title, I understand it's a title change, so people get happy about it and get excited. But this was like a whole other level of excitement for Lashley. He got cheered like he's never been cheered before. This is a guy that's been, the Hurt Business was during the pandemic era and everything, but even at WrestleMania when he faced Drew and later on and everything, he's never gotten that pop. And the fact that he's getting it as a babyface, and during his entrance, they said, for the past couple of weeks and past couple of months, Lashley has taken to the WWE Universe. And just as they said that, I'm hearing the fans just cheer him on. And, you mentioned it in your tweet, Mike. You said he was over, and it wasn't the WWE sound effects where he got cheered. It was the fans legitimately cheering him on. So I'm amazed. I don't know what happened. I don't know what they're doing, but it's working.
Yeah, like, and it's like there wasn't really like even like a real clear cut face turn.
No,
it was just like he was injured after the Royal Rumble match and disappeared, and he was a heel when he left, and he came back, and it's like, I'm back, I'm going to face Omos. Okay, great. And then he beats Omos Mania the next night, and he turns on him, and people just loved him after that. It's like, oh my god, like. It was not. I never felt like there was like a groundswell of like, oh, we love Lashley, we want to turn him face. It just kind of happened, but it worked. This is he's so over. This is the over that they wanted Bobby Lashley to be in 2007 when they were trying to push him to the moon. Then now he's that over in 2022. Kind of amazing.
It only took about 13 years,
right?
Or more, 15 years.
Yeah. It's just strange. It's like really like
it's
odd.
It's odd, but
I mean, he's great look. But again, even like his promos, they stink. They're horrible.
I was just gonna say, like, there's
something about him. Likable.
Something about him. Yeah, there's something about him, and I don't know what it is. Like you said, there was no turning point. It wasn't like something happened, and no more ugly sisters and butt jokes from a couple of years ago.
They finally figured out the formula. Just let him kill people and be a monster, and that'll get him over.
Yeah, be another version of Brock Lesnar. I mean, this guy's he could legit kill you. You know what I mean? So just run with it.
Absolutely. And he's a future title contender. I'm excited to see what they do with Bobby Lashley. It's like I have not ever said that sentence all that much in my life.
No, because like you said, he's not great on the microphone. So aside from what he does in the ring, like on the mic, there's nothing that really excites you about him. You look at it like, okay, this guy looks good. He looks great even. In the ring, he moves well, especially for someone his size. He has the strength, but outside of it, when he cuts his promos, it's bland. Again, going back to that word, it's just bad. Yeah, it's bad.
They border on being very bad. Promos.
Yeah. And I would love for them to do something like they did with Cena when he had the US title, which was like the US Open Challenge type of thing.
Yeah.
Have him beat people up every single week. Have him crush people. And if they could keep the title on Lashley up until Survivor Series, him and Gunther, Intercontinental title against United States title, that's a match I could get behind if they actually go that far.
That could be a great Survivor Series match because it's just like Survivor Series, we got to do the Battle of the Brands
for no apparent reason. Yeah,
for no apparent reason, and then we just forget it ever happened.
Yeah,
cool. Can't wait. But that could be a really good match.
It could be.
Carmella versus Bianca Belair. We kind of already mentioned about Bianca Belair being on a real cold streak. I was kind of looking forward to her facing Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea if anybody's going to benefit from the Judgment Day, it's not going to be Finn Balor and Damian Priest. It's going to be her. And unfortunately, she's dealing with concussion issues. She had her teeth loosened up in a match, and now she's not cleared to do anything. And it doesn't seem like that's ending anytime soon because after this match, Carmella attacked Bianca Belair So it seems like we're going to be seeing this match once again. But I was not into this match at all. This is probably the weakest match of the show, and I'm not a big Natalya fan either. So that's really telling you something.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you on this one. I think it wasn't great. It wasn't very good. Unfortunately, we are going to get this again. Carmella got the upper hand in the end, and it's not the last time we're going to get this matchup. No chemistry there. The match just never really got started. It was a lot of stop and go. The best part about this, which is again not a very good thing, was the commentary. I mean, Corey Graves just being like very over the top about it. Him and Saxon going back and forth. That was like the most entertaining part of it. Graves being creepy. It was that. It was, unfortunately, that was the best part of the match.
Yeah. You see, like I didn't think there was anything like technically wrong with it, but there was just nothing that made me want to see it again. And the finish was never in doubt. It's not like, oh, well, Rhea Ripley's not here, so they're gonna put the title on Carmella. I never thought that for a second.
No.
It just was there. And it probably could have been shorter. If it was shorter, I probably would like this match a little more.
Yeah. This would have been cut this match by like 5 minutes shorter, bring Bayley back after the match, and you got your SummerSlam match.
Hey.
That's what I would have done.
That's it. Roy, why aren't you booking this show? That would be
I don't know.
I'm saying if this match was shorter, I just looked up the time. It was 7 minutes. Like it felt so much longer.
It did feel longer.
I was just I was like, why are they like Bianca Belair really should have just like came out the gate strong because Carmella got the best of her a couple times and just hit her with a KOD and ended her. It's like, my God, like why do we have to have a match?
No. And they tried really hard to hype up Carmella, saying, she's won Money in the Bank twice, this is her pay-per-view and this and that. But like you said, it was never in doubt. The end was never in doubt.
Now, this next match, for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship, the Usos versus the Street Profits. I had a 2.5-year-old running around throwing things in the living room. I got Victoria, chasing after her, and I could not take my eyes off this match, not even for a second. I felt like when I was watching it that I was watching something special. And I think at the end of it, even though the finish was, planned for his shoulder to be up so that they can do this again, man, I thought this was probably, Hell in a Cell with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, I think is going to be a match that we talk about at the end of the 2020s when, the 2020s are over. And we look back on the dark ages in the early part of this decade. I think Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell will probably emerge as one of the best matches of the decade. And I don't want to hear about New Japan. I don't care. That was that was just everything great about wrestling was in that match. But for 2022, the second best match of the year could very well be this tag team match here tonight. I thought this was just outrageous. I saw some people on the internet trying to crap on it. Oh, it's a little sloppy. What are you talking about? You don't know wrestling if you thought this was bad.
No. I love this match. Reminded me why I love tag team wrestling so much. Grew up, I love tag teams, from the Hart Foundation, watching the older clips of Demolition to later on, the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian and everything. At one point, for maybe the past 5 years or 10 years, the tag team division we've spoken about, it's either been thin or they just randomly throw wrestlers together. Here, here's your tag team. I forgot how much I loved tag team wrestling, how much I enjoyed it up until tonight. I was hyped for this match. Street Profits, more often than not, are on Raw. I see the Usos every single Friday on SmackDown. The build-up to this has been solid. Both tag teams can talk on the mic. They both can cut a promo. That match tonight was, like you said, match of the year, or at least a contender for match of the year.
I think it's number 2 for WWE.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair to say. These all 4 guys gel so well together. The chemistry's there. Every spot that happened, I know they were planned from the sunset, the swanton by Angelo Dawkins, the one over the top rope by Montez Ford, the frog splash, all that. I get it, but everything happened for a reason. It all happened, at the right time in the match. It was a good pace. They did not overdo it with the near falls. They told a very good story. The commentary was top notch on this one. I loved it. I loved every single part of this match. I'm very happy, very, very, very happy that I didn't check the time, but that it got the time that it did. It wasn't like a 10-minute match or 15. I haven't checked. I don't know if you have the numbers, Mike, but this felt more like a 25-minute match.
It was 23 minutes.
23 minutes. And the fact that, no chairs, no ladders, no table, nothing like that, just pure tag team.
Just straight wrestling. Just really. And it wasn't even like, somebody had a really great comment on Twitter that I have to read. And I know some people I'm going to read this and everybody's going to say, oh, that's a shot at AEW. It's really, really not. This really isn't. Let me just pull it up here real quick. The person said, oh, sorry, I had to scroll through all the very hate here.
All good. It's again, we're talking WWE. I know FTR is absolutely incredible, especially right now, but to get this kind of match, wow. Especially when, like you said, Mike, I mean, with two big ladder matches, this is the match that steals the show. It's something, and we're gonna get another one. We're gonna get a rematch at SummerSlam. I'm loving this feud. I'm absolutely loving this feud. I don't know if the Street Profits will ultimately get the titles. I did not understand why they teased it on SmackDown and once more tonight on the pre-show of the whole Street Profits don't get along. I thought they were slowly planting the seed there of them breaking up, let's say, of splitting them up. Commentary team kept mentioning Montez Ford. He gained 20 pounds of muscle, looks great. So in my head, I'm thinking, are they planning to break them up?
I was actually noticing on SmackDown, I was like, God, this guy's really jacked.
His arms, he's ripped. He's ripped, especially his arms. So
here it is. Yeah. So Zach Whitlow goes, notice how the match never went 100 miles an hour. They were slow, steady, and kept the audience hanging on every move. Very different from the over-reliance on high spots we usually see in matches. And that's not a shot at AEW. I think that's a shot at wrestling as in general, of not being able to tell a story without doing 1,000 acrobatic moves. Yes, they certainly pulled out some really athletic things, but they didn't exist in a vacuum, where it's just like, okay, well, we did this, 450 splash to the floor through a table, through a chair. It's like we did, they did this electric chair drop blockbuster combo, which is just phenomenal. The precision and timing is just top notch from both these teams, on everything that they do. And, those are some car wreck spots, but they made sense in the context of the match. It wasn't just a spot just for a spot. That was, a spot that, when they go back and talk about this match, that was the spot we almost had it won, and then they break up the pin there or whatever it is. It's like, it plays into the finish. And another thing that I really liked, even though I thought SmackDown was pretty damn bad when I recapped it. I just was like, oh God, like total waste of time. They did something during that Ask Me Anything or Ask Them Anything segment where they mentioned that the Street Profits aren't on the same page. And that actually helped get me into this match a little more too, because I was like looking for spots where they were going to be like miscommunicating. I thought that was going to play into it, and this made me pay attention to the match extra hard. And I don't know, everything about it was just great. Like they had great singles matches. They had one on Raw. It was Montez versus Jay, phenomenal. And I was like, God, like, if the singles match is that good, this match on Saturday could be pretty damn good. And it was better than pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was great. It's like you just said, and like the comment that you just read, everything happened for a reason. You didn't get some acrobatic flip just for the sake of getting that acrobatic flip. They sold very well, which is something I enjoyed, because a lot of the times, especially in tag team matches, you get one guy that just gets killed, and 5 seconds later he's back up to help with a double team. This match, we didn't get that. This match, everything happened for a reason. All four guys sold and sold very, very well. It wasn't, like the comment said, it wasn't 100 miles per hour. It was paced very well. If you're a fan of tag team wrestling, you're going to enjoy this. If you're not a fan of tag team wrestling, you're going to enjoy this. There was nothing. I cannot nitpick and say, oh, I hated this, or they should not have done this, or why did they do this? Everything made sense.
Right. And even though I was like, the Usos are going to win this match, I was just like, that was just my immediate thought. I was just like, oh, the Usos are going to win this. But as I'm watching the match, I'm like, the Usos are not going to win this match. I just, you just forget about everything. Like, they pulled me into it. It was a totally immersive experience. It was just phenomenal. And, I know everybody loves Montez Ford. I love Montez Ford. I think he's an incredible athlete, but I don't, and I've talked about this with Victoria before, and I just want to say this again. I don't think there's a Marty Jannetty in the Street Profits. Angela Dawkins was phenomenal in this match, and the guy has outrageous personality. They're both. It's like a tag team with two Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. For his size, he moves incredibly well. For someone his size, he's a big guy. 6'5". I'm well over, probably around 240, 250, more even. The flips, the moves, the agility. He has power, strength, speed. He has it all. He has a look and can cut a promo. He's very good. I know often he gets overshadowed by Montez Ford for just an incredible athlete. But like you said, it's not a Marty Jannetty. There's no one there that, there's not someone in the stacking that says that you could look and say, he's going to be world champion. He'll be intercontinental. He's going to be world champion. He's going to be nothing. No, both of these guys, if booked properly as singles competitors, can definitely make it, because they have the look. They have everything. They have the tools.
I just caught this thing on WWE. Happy Corbin attacked Pat McAfee after Money in the Bank. So it looks there's your SummerSlam match right there.
Yeah, I guess he finally accepted the challenge.
It looks like it. It looks like it.
Yeah.
But anyway, July 2nd was the 65th birthday of your brother's favorite wrestler, Mr. Bret Hart. And I thought, for somebody who really was part of one of the great tag teams of all time, and really a great tag team wrestler, on top of being just an incredible wrestler all around, phenomenal singles. But his tag team work is, unmatched, really. I thought the Street Profits and the Usos was a perfect birthday gift for Bret Hart and a great way to pay him homage. Unlike this next match with Natalya, who's actually related to Bret Hart. She did the sunglasses thing as a tribute to her uncle, gave a kid her sunglasses, and that's about as far as the Hart legacy went there tonight. There is something about Natalya. This match against Ronda Rousey I watched it and I was like, what is it about this match? I'm looking at the TV, I'm like, there's nothing technically wrong with it.
No, it was actually in terms of a wrestling match, you had the chain wrestling at the start, both women can go. It wasn't bad. I did not hate it.
The layout was fine, I guess. Like I saw somebody say like the first 11 minutes were trash and the finish was pretty good. Which I can agree with a little bit, but there's just something about it. Like at the end of it, my immediate reaction, without being able to like really pinpoint anything, it was just a gut reaction. It was just, I didn't like that.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Again, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. It was just kind of there. I don't know what it was. To a certain degree, I thought
Natalya.
Ronda was maybe...
For me, it's Natalya. She's a great. I actually think she's a fine wrestler. Whatever. I've said in the past that I don't think much of her as a wrestler, but tonight she showed herself to be a good wrestler. But it's the acting, it's the emoting that she does. You bitch, hey, you shut up. shut up, I'm a heel, shut up. It's like,
Yeah.
man, when she's like it, I never feel like when so like it's not even fair to compare that match to the Street Profits and the Usos, but like I was watching that match, I believed everything that those guys were doing.
Mhm.
You could see it in their faces, the desperation of trying to get the pinfalls, the frustration that they couldn't put them away. There was storytelling in the not just in in the structure of the match and the moves, but in the emotion that totally brings me in. I've never, not once, and she's been around for 15 years. Not once have I ever been emotionally invested in an Italian match because I can't be. She doesn't allow you to be because she's a terrible actress. Every time I watch her stuff, it's like I can see that she's trying to have a great wrestling match because she's a heart. So I see somebody trying really hard and playing wrestler.
Yeah.
And I always like tonight, she's the heel in the match, and it's like I'm not watching like this person who's pissed at the crowd and really wants to kill Ronda Rousey. I'm watching somebody who's playing somebody who's pissed at the crowd and trying to hurt Ronda Rousey. I didn't believe it for a second. Her character work is just atrocious, and that on top of Ronda Rousey, just I think she came back too early, and I still don't think she's hit her stride. I don't think she's hit her stride in terms of like coming back and being totally comfortable. She still looks like she's missing a step or two, and I'm not, and that'll come eventually, but with being a new mother and trying to balance that life and trying to balance this, this is taking a back seat, to getting her comfortable. So really, I think that all ties into me just not liking this match.
Yeah, it's a combination of a couple of things. Absolutely. Ed mentioned it in the chat. Rousey for me was kind of phoning it in. She did not want to be there, and Natalya's just not good at selling. I think Natalya backstage training people, training wrestlers, I think is great. In terms of how to lay out a match and everything, I think she would be great at it. In terms of selling, which unfortunately in wrestling you have to be good at selling, you have to be good at acting, because at the end of the day, not only are these men and women athletes, but they're actors. The acting part of it, she doesn't have.
Not at all. Like there was a spot like where Ronda was trying to put her into an ankle lock, and she was like, It's like, how about just go like anything,
something,
anything other than what she was doing, which was almost nothing. It's like, oh, now I got to act like I'm nervous.
It's
like if you can see the wheels in her head turning, trying to figure out what emotion she should try to portray, that's not good. That's not good.
No.
And I'm sorry, that's not the mark of a great wrestler. It's the mark of somebody who is a good trainer.
Yeah.
I guess. Like they say those who can't teach, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I'm a teacher, so I can say that.
Well, you could say that, right? You could say that. The rest of us cannot. But yeah.
You do. I teach.
There you go. No, and that's the thing with Natalya, and it's always been like that throughout her entire career. Her character is based off the fact of, I am a hurt. I graduated from the dungeon, so I'm a great wrestler. No doubt about it. And tonight, I think she tried to have a wrestling match. I thought the first couple of minutes, I disagree with the comment, because I read it. I read the tweet as well. Someone that said the first 11 minutes were not good. I disagree. I think they were trying to do something there. It just didn't work. I thought it was okay.
And that, you see, it's like that's another thing. That's like an Natalya trademark where it's like, okay, I have to showcase my excellent wrestling ability because I'm a heart. But the feud that they had, I actually thought that the segments were pretty good. Especially that one where she was dressed up like Ronda, and they had and Ronda really hit her with some sick burns, man, sick burns. To be hit with those burns and then come out and just try to do some chain wrestling just doesn't make sense for
No,
the story.
no.
So
Yeah.
again, it's like, what are we doing here? Are we
I don't know.
playing wrestler or are you trying to tell a story? Because if
That's the
you're playing
thing.
wresler,
It's not
you're
doing the
you're
job.
not doing your job.
No, and not at all. And the ending was good. Towards the end, they tried to. I don't think it was ever in doubt. I don't think anyone ever
No,
actually thought
yeah.
Natalya was gonna win. But for me, I'm watching this match and I'm thinking, okay, I could kind of tell what they're trying to do. They're trying to have some sort of a wrestling match. It's just not working. They had that chain wrestling at the start, first couple of minutes, and then they had the sharpshooter on the ring apron, and this. And I'm like, okay, it's just missing something. It wasn't something was missing. It wasn't there. Mix or combined with the fact that Ronda was phoning it in, did not want to be there, and Natalya's Natalya.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. And I think the story was like, if she gets her in the sharpshooter, she's in trouble. Like that would be the end of her. So she got her on the apron, but she never got her in the ring in the sharpshooter. And even as she was
Right.
going for the sharpshooter, she gets her in the arm bar. And that's another thing that kind of hurt the match too. It's like I personally like the finish because I do like that Ronda can lock in that arm bar from anywhere at any angle and get the win. But if you're there watching it live and everybody's like used to the person being on the mat, like, okay, I tap. It's like, I think that was kind of like they weren't expecting that finish either. So that also kind of made it come off kind of duddy in a way.
But
But
there was
then it all gets forgotten about because of Liv Morgan seconds later. But still,
no, it gets completely overshadowed. There was one instance where I want to ask you, Mike, and I want to ask everybody in the chat: was it just me, or when Ronda got Natalya in the sharpshooter and then she was kind of flexing? Wasn't that like Shawn Michaels? That was a Shawn Michaels pose.
That was absolutely a Shawn Michaels pose. I even put it in the recap. I noticed. I was like, "What is she doing?" And then I was like, "Oh, I see. That was and really, I thought the commentators should have went a little harder on that. I figured they might have because it was Bret Hart's birthday.
It was birthday. Yeah.
But Pat McAfee did go, "This is a heartbreaking scenario."
That was Vince in his ear.
Yeah.
That was absolutely Vince in his ear. That wasn't. I love McAfee. I absolutely love the guy. There was no way he came up with that.
Way. I was like, oh, Heartbreak Kid, and Bret Hart, Heartbreak. I was like, oh, there's so many connotations that there's so many different ways to interpret that statement. But man, yeah, that was definitely the HBK, the pose that he used to do in the ring with the fireworks going off. I was like, that was sharp. That was probably that
was clever.
Roy might be my favorite part of that entire match.
That's not saying much though.
I know. And then, they do the cash in with Liv Morgan. They did a thing where Ronda Rousey like tweaked her knee or something like that. And Liv Morgan's going to cash in. I was like, really? I was really like, I saw a lot of people were like, oh, she's going to cash in. So I was like, no way. Then she did. I thought, because they went really hard during the pre-show and even during the women's Money in the Bank match too, where I'm sorry, not Pat McAfee, but I think it was Jimmy Smith that said 100% of the women that have cashed in Money in the Bank have won it. It's almost a guarantee that you're going to be the champion. It is guaranteed that when you win this belt, win this briefcase, that you're going to be a champion. Where the men have 85%. And I was like, oh, because as soon as Liv Morgan came out, she gets put in the ankle lock right away. I was like, are they going to make Liv Morgan tap out?
That would have been horrible.
That made it, for me, kind of the most, okay, so like I think every single Money in the Bank cash-in that's ever been done, except for ones where it's been announced, and there haven't been too many that have been announced. I think it was like Rob Van Dam did one at ECW One Night Stand.
I forgot about that one.
John Cena announced his on Raw 1000 and lost.
Yeah.
Not
many get announced.
Yeah, not many get announced. I think there might only be two. So aside from those, most cash-ins take seconds. They're over and done. There's almost no drama whatsoever. That was probably the most like other than the Seth Rollins WrestleMania main event cash in, that was probably the most dramatic Money in the Bank cash in I've ever seen, because I was like, they're gonna make Liv Morgan lose. I was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe this. I'm like watching this thing. I'm like so excited. And the match literally took 35 seconds. 35 seconds of like, what are they doing? I thought that was great.
No, it was very well executed. It was very well made. I loved it. I was surprised because when, after Liv had won the match, she got the promo backstage with Sarah, and she said, this is a WrestleMania moment. I have 1 year to save it. This is a WrestleMania match. Sorry. So in my head, I'm like, okay, so I don't think they're gonna have her cash it in tonight. So it was a surprise. It absolutely was a surprise. Once her music hit, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Because not only did she cash in and win, but she cashed in and won it against Ronda Rousey. Not against anyone, but against Ronda Rousey. And I know they were playing on the whole, my knee was hurt, because that's how she got out of it, right? She kicked her knee away and then rolled her up and got the win. But if they can build up on that momentum, she just won Money in the Bank. She just cashed in Money in the Bank. She just cashed in Money in the Bank on Ronda Rousey and won. That is huge.
Mm-hmm.
That is huge. And that's something they absolutely have to capitalize on. The crowd was red hot, as they are for pretty much every single, cash in. But specifically this one, the crowd was good tonight. Crowd was good. And now it's a matter of, like we said earlier, what do they do with her? That's going to be the big question.
Right. Where do they go from here? It's all in the follow-up, baby. It's all in the follow-up. Yeah. I just looked at the Money in the Bank. So there were 3 matches that were called ahead. Rob Van Dam, John Cena, and Braun Strowman, whose match went to a no contest inside Hell in a Cell when they finally killed the Hell in a Cell gimmick completely and totally for good. Until Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes saved it this year.
Oh gosh,
that was where Brock Lesnar returned and ripped off the door. And then the year after that, they had Seth Rollins and The Fiend inside Hell in a Cell,
which was an abomination to.
That was an abomination to wrestling in general.
Wrestling, yeah.
All these people that are like super excited that vignette could possibly be Bray Wyatt.
See,
don't get too excited. I've never been a big Bray Wyatt fan. I don't think that the character has ever been that great. He cuts good promo, but
yeah,
other than that,
I don't know. I'm a massive I'm a massive Undertaker fan, so I like those kinds of, let's say, like the darker characters.
Yeah,
I just don't, but like you, I try to like the Bray Wyatt character. I really did like the Fiend. I thought when he debuted at SummerSlam against Finn Balor, that was a great debut. That was very well made. But after that, we've spoken about this a bunch of times. It was just downhill. For that little vignette we saw earlier tonight, I have no clue who it could be. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I see a lot of people saying Gable Steveson because there was like some kind of medal in it. I have to go back and watch it again.
There was a medal. There was one. And I'm thinking, I saw some people say Edge, and they're like, okay, but I don't think so. I mean, in terms of medal, Chad Gable, I don't know. What are they going to try and do? I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting one, because that's gonna last for a while.
Right.
And we're probably gonna get it maybe around SummerSlam or something. So
we'll
see.
Roy, I thought they really delivered on a lot of fronts tonight. And you think about even Liv Morgan. I mean, let me just type in Liv Morgan here real quick. She is 28 years old.
Yeah.
Theory's 24. They got younger tonight.
About time.
About time.
They had to. And again, you mentioned this earlier, but credit to them. They're trying to build stars. They're trying to build young stars. Theory could have the look for it. Riddle's another one. And they're backed into a corner where they have to, because Orton's out. Edge, who knows what they're going to do with him and how many years he has left. Same thing for Orton. Cody Rhodes is out at least until the Rumble. You would think that's probably when he's going to come back. Roman and Lesnar are part-time. They're not doing too much with Drew, like in terms of the main event. So they need to develop, they need to get some new faces, some fresh, young guys and women as well. can't go wrong, I guess. Well, so far you can't go wrong with the ones that they've selected. So
Absolutely.
Time will tell.
Absolutely, my friend. So let's open it up to the chat. What do you think of the show? Do you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Roy, I ask you first. I think I already know your answer. What do you give this show?
Thumbs up easily. Despite the fact that I wasn't the biggest fan of the ending, just because I'm not a fan of them just throwing in another competitor at the last second, but that's just me personally. But no, absolutely thumbs up. The pay-per-views have delivered for every single pay-per-view this year, so by far a good thumbs up.
Absolutely. And on Twitter, polarizing because of the theory thing. I can't believe it. 55% thumbs up, 46%. I don't know. I'm not understanding how this is working out right now. We'll just round up and round down. 55% and 45% thumbs up. Up for now, at least. I'd be crazy with a show that has the Usos and the Street Profits as the best match with 2 ladder matches. That emerged as the best match of the show. It's incredible to me. But the ladder matches were pretty damn good as well. I got to give it a thumbs up. The direction of the company is making sense, and that they're trying to get young. Every match, most matches, I shouldn't say every match, but most matches delivered. And we're pretty damn good. Bobby Lashley was super over. Like there's a lot of good that came out of this show. So we got Ed Hamilton giving us a thumbs up. Daniel Schell gives a thumbs up. The tag match was classic. Usually pay-per-views like this are rare that they deliver. Money in the Bank is not a B pay-per-view. I think it's surpassed Survivor Series as like their core 4 shows. It's like Royal Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and Money in the Bank for me.
Yeah, they're not treating it as a B pay-per-view, although considering where the original venue was and ticket sales didn't go too well, I could see how it might be looked at as a B pay-per-view. But no, I think they're trying to push it where that it's not.
Well, they certainly don't view it as a B pay-per-view.
Right.
I think the view. Well, like Daniel might not be wrong. The view to the regular fans might be that it's just a B pay-per-view, but that's on them to continue to build this show into something that really makes gets people excited and is something that they look forward to as a destination every single year. And having it dedicated to like a time like this, because this thing's bounced around from I think it used to be, and it was in July, then it was in April, and like if it has like one destination, like it's Money in the Bank time, like that might be that might go into
which kind of whenever for me personally, and whenever I think of June, I know now that we're July, but whenever I used to think of June, I used to think of King of the Ring, which was another one of my favorites.
Me too.
I absolutely loved it. And then, for a while, it was in June for Money, for Money in the Bank. But I think the gimmick works. I really think the gimmick works, and it helps. So as long as they don't overdo it, keep it once a year.
And people are excited about it. I mean, for a couple minutes after the men's Money in the Bank ladder match ended, you could not get on Wrestleview because so many people were trying to get onto the site to see the results.
Yeah.
So people are interested in the show. It's just I think they went a little too big trying to go to Allegiant Stadium, for God's sake. That's stadium.
Yeah.
Back-to-back stadium shows, SummerSlam and Money in the Bank, they're impossible.
No way. And something that just to touch up on really, really quickly that they mentioned a lot throughout this pay-per-view was they essentially hyped it up when they were hyping up SummerSlam between Lesnar and Roman Reigns. They said, well, whoever wins Money in the Bank tonight surely has to cash in at SummerSlam. And I'm thinking, like, are you guys really? You're already hyping up SummerSlam right now, and now I'm thinking, well, Theory won, so Theory's going to try and cash in on Roman and Lesnar. That's going to be interesting. So they're doing well in that sense to promote SummerSlam.
It could be, and 1, 2, 3, 4. SummerSlam is 4 weeks away.
Yeah, July 30th.
July 30th. So we don't have much time to build it up, and they have, and because ticket sales are sluggish, they have to kind of like tease a Money in the Bank cash in to try to get people interested.
They flat out mentioned it. They said whoever's going to cash in surely has to cash it in at SummerSlam. Wow, spoiler much?
Yeah, really. Andrew Elder gives Money in the Bank a thumbs up, and he gives this show a thumbs up. We appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, SummerSlam's the day after Andrew Elder's birthday, so we'll have to make sure we wish him a happy birthday.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this coverage of Money in the Bank. Great show, and we really appreciate you all hanging out with us for this past hour and a half. It is late, and it's close to the 4th of July, so I in America here at least. So I gotta, we got some barbecues going on tomorrow, so we're gonna have some fun. So I gotta get some sleep now. Roy, thank you so much for joining me on the show tonight.
As always, thank you, Mike, and as always, fun talking to you, fun interacting with everybody, and it's a privilege. It's a privilege and an honor to be talking to the Raw recapper, the Wrestleview.com Raw recapper, Mike Tedesco, and thank you once more for helping take over SmackDown yesterday. I'm gonna be here on Monday, no post Raw, obviously, and happy 4th of July in advance. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you soon, everybody. Until then, I'm Mike. That's Roy. Have a good night. Ciao.